I'd like to thank Kyle Peck and Larry Reagan for joining us this morning for this podcast for eLearn magazine that's focused on COIL, which Kyle and Larry are going to tell us all about. They are the co-directors of COIL at Penn State University. Kyle, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ellie. Happy to be here.
And Larry, I appreciate you taking the time to come over as well.
My pleasure. One of my favorite topics.
Great. So maybe we can start with you all telling us, what is COIL at Penn State University?
So I'll give you a little background on the center. First of all, it stands for the Center for Online Innovation and Learning. And it was created about 2 years ago after about 10 years of rumination of what should be designed as a research and development or a research center initially. And it came about by 3 units, if you will, coming together: outreach at Penn State, the College of Education at Penn State, and information science and technology. And the idea was we're at the right time in the evolution of online learning to begin reaching back into our community at Penn State and looking at building a culture of research. And we explored that for a while, and it was my colleague Kyle Peck who said, we also have an opportunity here to focus on development. So let's make sure development meaning building new things, trying new tools, testing new ideas. And that's where the theme of the mission of COIL, which is really to create a culture of research and development in online innovations that can impact how we do learning at Penn State.
Kyle, what kinds of interesting, innovative tools and ideas did you have when you started, and how many years into this are we? What new tools are you discovering today?
So we're just 2 years in. We're not even 2 years in. We're a year and a half in. And we've discovered several things in terms of tools, but also in terms of the way our organization works and can work. So one of our big goals was to cross borders between faculty, staff, and students. So create a real interchange there, and to create a collaboration with outside organizations as well. So one of the things I would just want to point out is we started by really trying to build that cross-pollination and collaboration. And as a result, we do have very cool projects, and we've got 27 different projects that we funded right now for a total of over $900,000. And we've done this in 4 different cycles, but we've got everything from case-based environments that we're developing to support higher order learning, sketch-based kinds of things like Khan Academy, people trying to do that for different approaches and looking at different things. Larry's involved in one that's about teaching behaviors that enable online learning success. How can we change the instructional message to improve the likelihood that people will be successful? We have one that works with digital badging, creates a digital badging engine and investigates the benefits of that. We're developing a massive open online course that spans different institutions, all the CIC, the sort of the Big Ten institutions, many of them collaborating to create a single MOOC on music education. Mm-hmm. Looking at that, we have adaptive learning platform. We have one that's looking at adaptive learning platforms like Newton and Smart Sparrow. Big data projects. We have things related to autism and using sort of gaming kinds of approaches to develop social skills in autistic kids. We're developing peer review tools, and we're developing other peer support mechanisms. We're looking at using tools like Piazza. So we're not always developing the tool. Sometimes we're just applying that and doing the research related to that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that could go on. We have people using Google Glass. We have people using eye tracking devices, portable, mobile eye tracking devices. So watching parents and children interacting in informal learning environments.
Is that what you're using Google Glass for, or is the Google Glass project something different?
This is one. There's a new eye tracking piece of hardware, and our group is going to turn that mobile with interaction with the vendor. So another thing I should mention is we have, in these 27 grants, we have 176 named researchers, and they cross 10 different academic colleges.
Yeah, I was going to ask that because Larry mentioned that that it was a collaboration of the College of Education, the College of Information Sciences and Technology, so 2 academic units, and then outreach right?
Yes, and then I should have added the fourth partner onto the team is the Information Technology Services, so it's another support unit at
I
Penn
see.
State.
So 2 support units and 2 academic
Right.
units, and yet the grants expand beyond even our own campus. So you just said 5
Absolutely.
campuses.
5 campuses. We have 39 different academic programs just in the funded ones. We have over 70 academic programs. Most people don't even know that there are 70 academic programs. We had more like 79 academic programs apply.
Wow.
We have 17 different support units. Again, there were over 35 different support units that applied. And we have 19 partner institutions. Again, there were like twice as many that were proposed. So we're currently funding about 1/3 of the proposals, 36% of the proposals that we receive, at an average of about $35,000.
So it's really like an R&D think tank inside the university, specifically focused at
Absolutely.
online learning.
R&D seed grants. So we're saying that they're one of the criteria. We have a set of criteria. It's on our website, and we say exactly how many points are going to be awarded for each thing. But one of the things, we know that it takes money to create a proof of concept, that then you're onto something, and then you can get external funding to go big. So these are all small grants. We set the cap at $50,000. I know that's a lot of money. I don't want to make that sound small, but when you're trying to build things and engage in research, it really goes quickly. So it's just been a very exciting, stimulating way to bring the research community together. I think we have people now who are studying things related to online learning that weren't before, but we also know across all these different academic programs who are the people that are interested in improving learning.
And doing innovative things with online learning. So would you say that you were trying to solve a particular problem, or were you being drawn by a different kind of vision when you started COIL?
I'll take a shot at that one, Allie. I think we were really looking at how can we contribute to the online learning environment and the face-to-face environment and the blended learning environment. So we weren't focused on any one delivery format. The question was, can we be using online innovations, which could be very broad. It's about pedagogical models, it's about technology systems and tools, it might be about leadership development. How can we use those to improve ultimately the student experience? And that's really what we're aiming at. Can we improve learning, the way our students engage and operate? We want to know more nuanced methodologies that we can be doing inside of our classes. Once Kyle said we're just coming up on our 2-year anniversary, which is in September. We're at the point now where we're starting to get some of that data and we're beginning to embed it back into the institution. So a really cool program that happened in February timeframe was a new program that we created called a Bring Your Own Problem, a BYOP. And a BYOP was, we learned from the badging project that we had taken on in the first go-round, and Kyle and several other colleagues have been working on. And we had a 3-hour workshop where people brought their own problem, their issue, but we applied what these folks have been learning back into the institution. So already we're beginning to see, I was just at a meeting a couple minutes ago with a colleague of ours who's looking at putting badging on a program that he's designing and delivering. That's what we want to look at. We have sort of 4 activities that we do. We look at research, we look at building community, we reach out to engage, and then finally we want to make an impact. And it's that impact that really, I think, excites us and drives us, is how can we improve the way students learn?
Excellent. So if you were to give some advice to other groups, whether it was a university or even a school district or a corporation that wanted to, maybe didn't have a center that was specifically focused on R&D and online learning, what advice might you give a group that was trying to start out on something like that?
I would say just focus on R&D. So in education, we have research grants, and we have almost no development. I mean, so development tends to happen outside. Textbook publishers and other people develop materials for K-12 schools, and a lot of higher ed as well, or professors develop their own courses, but there really isn't much of a combined R&D in most organizations. Now that's changing, and we know there are a lot of instructional design shops, and Penn State's proud that we have over 100 people at Penn State that are classified as instructional designers. So we know that there is a development piece, but even they are often working with content only and don't have the time, can't step out to build a new tool, to conceive something. They have great ideas, but they're not really charged with developing new tools. And so you end up with people who have ideas, but not the ability to make those happen. And you have other people who can do research, but they don't have the thing to do the research on. So they just do whatever research is doable without the ability to build that. So the combination of those, I think, is really powerful, and it excites people because David Warlick is I don't know if you know David Warlick. He's a consultant and speaker on educational technology. And he said in one of his podcasts, if you can imagine it today, it's probably closer to reality than it is to fantasy. He was talking about educational technology use. If you can imagine it, it's probably closer to reality than fantasy. And that made me stop and think. But I think what COIL does is, if you can imagine it, hey, put together a team, we'll give you the money to start building that, and let's go there. Because I really do believe that the combination of technologies and tools we have now is really close to a set that will allow us to do whatever we want. And when you add Moore's Law to that, and the power of machines doubling every 18 months, and memory and storage and speeds and access, the ubiquity of access, it's really an exciting time. And to be able to know that if I have an idea, there's actually a way where I can, and now with a 1/3 chance of being funded, it's like, wow, that's, I think that's going to inspire a lot of development.
Excellent.
So I'd give my real quick one. I would say, regardless of your size, regardless of your funding stream, we're very fortunate at Penn State. We have the resources to do this. But I think one of the things that has surprised me in a really good way is the energy and the interest from our constituent group. It's so exciting to see faculty members coming together, and for one of the first times for staff members to have an opportunity to be actively engaged, be able to say that they're on a granted grant project. That energy, tapping into that, and I don't think it's necessarily about big dollars and that kind of stuff. It's a lot about that community, helping people find a place to express their ideas, maybe team up with someone that they didn't know before to do something really cool and fun. And I think that's really has captured a lot of the spirit of what we're doing. It's fun. People are really enjoying this. And I will say, I think we're enjoying it too.
Excellent.
Well, we should give a quick nod, just real before I sign off, to our two other unit directors. We have Fred Fonseca from the College of Information Science and Technology, and Bart Purcell, who is from Information Technology Services, ITS. So they're great contributors as well.
Well, they'll be glad to have been thanked. And I thank both of you very much for taking the time out of your day to come over and spend some time with us. And I appreciate the opportunity to explore COIL at Penn State for the eLearn Magazine podcast.
COIL.psu.edu.
COIL.psu.edu. Thank you for that, Kyle.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.